This is a Fender 68 Custom Deluxe Reverb in stock form. The volumes are off. The reverb is at 0. This is the amp's self-noise. Remember this. This will be important later in the video. So my buddy Brian up in Nashville brought down his two matching 68 Custom Deluxe Reverbs, and one of them made quieter and better, etc., etc. He'd seen my videos. So I've done the standard stuff in here to upgrade the reliability, removing the old lead-free solder on the input jacks and the volume pots, and putting in standard Kester 6040 leaded solder, moving the stuff off the preamp board, the PCB that gets hot, and moving it to the octal sockets. Nothing radical, just redressing some of the major problems of this, particularly the heater wires. Those burn up on these all the time. So that's all been done, and the V3 socket has been rewired correctly, as I've shown in other videos. The trace from the vibrato channel volume going to V2B has been cut, and the green wire has been removed, and a shielded wire has been put in its place. And on this amp, both amps actually, the normal channel has a mids pot added on the back in place of that always in-your-face 18K that the 68 Custom comes with. Now it's variable from 0, which is what you get if you turn the mids pot down on a 60s Fender that had a mids pot, to right about 8 o'clock is where 5 is on a twin, straight up middle. About 10 o'clock is where the fixed resistor in a super reverb or a deluxe reverb is, that's 6.8K. At noon is 10K, the way you get with a mids pot on an old Fender that's set all the way up. And that goes all the way up to 100K beyond that, which is where you get into boost, more mids, then boost, then eventually pretty much the full tone stack defeat. So that's all from noon up is to taste. Some guys will keep it there at 2 o'clock the entire time. Other guys are going to be like, that sounds like a deluxe reverb. Oh, I like that. That's kind of more of a twin thing. So a lot of variation, a lot of variety available with a $5 pot and a $2 knob. Kind of nice. Beyond that, I've recapped the amp as shown before and shown here. Nothing major, nothing mind-blowing, just taking out the cheap IC caps and putting in some good quality ones. In this case, the MODs. And the amp sounds great. And Brian, when he comes down to pick up the two amps, will do us a nice playing demo of both amps, or at least one of them, because they're going to sound identical. I've got them biased. I will have them biased exactly the same. I'm about to do the second amp. My goal is about 58% idle dissipation on these amps, just to make them very reliable and to take all that noise out. And what do I mean by that? Well, here's the stock amp again with its self-noise. Remember this? And here's the amp after getting all the stupid noisy stuff out. I've talked in other videos about why it's noisy and why it's stupid, and that you can do it with plate mixers, or you can do it with mix resistors after coupling caps and just deal with mixing AC. Fender does the cheapest, noisiest way to do it. It's a dumb way to have vibrato and trim on both channels, and you don't really need vibe and trim on both channels in an old Fender. And this way, Brian can have all his clean effects set up to go through the vibrato channels and all his dirtier stuff to go through the dry normal channel without reverb. It's just a nice way to do it. Stick a Marshall pedal in front of the normal channel without reverb, get a nice big dry loud amp. You have further control of the sound on the rear panel here with this mid spot, and then switch over to clean stuff, chorus, delay, all the beautiful stuff people like to use will sound impeccable there, and then that nice reverb comes into play. Anyway, like I said, you'll get to hear these for real when Brian comes and picks them up.